Hello, this is Uhasa and welcome to a Shadowfrost Battle Drills initial guide. In this video, we're going to share the maps that I have cooked for you guys. There's two of them. Uh, I will be sharing them free and publicly. They will be in the Discord. Link is in the description below. If that's all you came for, that's great. And then if you want to stay, I'll be sharing my understanding, like map insights, like what is this new map all about. I'll sharing the principles that I've learned from working with Radiant in the past. And then I'll share my analyses on the maps and my thought process. So let's begin. Here are the maps. Okay, there's two of them. This one, which is prioritizing buffs first, and then this one is prioritizing on uniting your camps first, and then focusing on the buffs. Okay, so and if you want to, cook up your own one, this empty one will also be here and in the Discord as well. So let's start with looking at the map. So I don't know if you noticed, but this is basically Spider Wasteland remix. So Spider Wasteland was in season 1 with the Mauler seasons, and it was really hard at the time, and that's when I first got really into um, battle drills, like going into details, and that was the first time I was working with Radiant Guild as well. Now, you have the same sub bosses, you have the same boss, and you have one camp less, so you have two camps total, and you have you don't have to choose your, like, you don't have multiple choices for buffs, you just have a certain buff. And then they just just tweaked it around a little bit, very creative stuff, and changed the map. So what is different is that there's a lot of towers, and there's a lot of variety of monsters within the towers. Okay. So what that means is you have to choose, you have to understand these monsters, their abilities, and what team compositions would work best based off those formations. Okay, so I am still figuring it out for myself, but a good clue where you can start is, in the AFK stages, you versed a lot of these different compositions before. So check out what works and what doesn't, and that's your guide to starting. Okay, I will make my own formations later and release them in a future video, but not in this one for now, because I'm still figuring it out myself. Next thing is the passages. So there's only passages here on the left side. So there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 passages total only. You can see in the middle and on the right side, there's no passages. So very interesting choice here as well. But the reason being is because they have revamped the whole Battle Drill stamina system, where you get about like half the amount of stamina that you have, but the stamina is like changed a lot, where you can use all your heroes, but the total amount of moves that you can make is less. So if everything was stacked with passages, it would take a very long time to clear this map. So that's why I think that's why they've reduced the passages so much, and they've just left one side with passages. Okay. So now let's talk about this the camps. So you can see here 15 on each side, which makes 30. Yes, I think they fixed it, because yesterday it said 14-14, so I'm glad they fixed that. You get 20% bonus buff here at the beginning for all allied heroes, which is needed because the season's just started, so we're not that strong. Okay, let's talk about the external towers first on the outside. And all towers, when you complete them, you get bonus camp level rewards. What that means is all your heroes get bonus 5 levels, 10 levels, 15, etc., etc. So this is worth 5. This is worth 10. These are worth 20. The buff ones are worth 30, and the shadow bosses are only worth 5. Okay, and the boss, he gives you 500 diamonds. Okay, these internal ones here inside are worth 5 as well. Right, and one of the principles that I've learned from Radiant is you need to, like, it's usually best to start from the weakest to the strongest towers. So you start capturing like +5, +10 towers, because they will make you really strong slowly, and they are quick to clear. And then by the time you face these like really hard towers, you can defeat the bosses. You have a much higher chance of defeating the bosses versus like going straight to the bosses and then clearing the rest. It's going to take forever to do that. All right, now on the inside, like I said before, oh, let's just clear this. These are worth 5, okay, each, and then you see there's like a diamond that forms, and they're worth 5 as well. Then you have these other towers here, and they were 20. So you can just think of it like that. Okay. And then these bosses, Aaron is immune to physical damage when he has his shield, so you want to use a magic team. And then for Marilee, she does stun like one target forever, I believe. And so it's just like the old times. So you want something like a Taline composition, and you want them to trap Marilee so she doesn't keep jumping around. She gets trapped in a corner, and then you can just like continuously boss her. And then for this boss here, yeah, it's generally okay. Just make sure you stay alive. Now the rest of this is, like I said, you need to understand your formations, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So to summarize, the principles that I've learned is prioritize the buffs and uniting camps as soon as possible. The earlier you do this, the better. And then after, you just you go from there and figure out like, okay, weakest towers to the strongest towers to the boss, and then the final boss. And so based off of this, you can make your decisions pretty straightforward. So in the first map, I'm prioritizing this is prioritizing the buffs first. So if you're not sure what all these colors are, I try to make it as neat as possible, but look in the top right, this is the order. Okay, so, and just follow the colors. So step number 1 is the camps do not merge first. They're just prioritizing the buff straight away. So there's a +5 and then a +10, and then you have to capture a +30. This might take a little bit of time, but the thing is, you have to be very, very efficient with your stamina. Like, you don't have a lot of time, and you don't have a lot of stamina to take on everything all at once. So that's why, and if you have good formations, you can probably 1, 2 shot, 3 shot, maybe 4 shot these towers. Just depends on your hero investment, and it depends on your formations. Step number 2 is, once you get these buffs, not everyone gets all the buffs, right? Because you still have to unite. So that's why you're aiming to unite the camps straight away after that. So if you go in opposite directions like this, the diamonds will naturally, the towers will naturally follow, and the camps will naturally join because you cleared all these. This should be a very, very quick step because they're only +5. Number 3 is, then you just take out, like, starting from here is just taking out the towers that you haven't taken in the order of weakest to strongest. So you have a 5 and 10, 5, 10 here, a 5, 10 here, and then you just take care of the purples, which are 20s, and then you just finish the bosses. So that I hope that that makes some sense. And the second one is prioritizing uniting your camps first, and then because like so you just do the diamond, and once you're united, because you're together, you can actually just move towards the buff tower, the first buff tower together. Now, I would prioritize the energy flow on top first, just because I think it's better. The reason why I think it's better is because energy flow gives you 50 haste and 40 energy per second. Per second, okay? So every single second, like that's a massive buff. Whereas Moment of Glory plus 15% and crit is very nice, but it's only for 3 seconds, and it's only whenever you cast your ultimate. So I think this is more of a late game, like you benefit much more in the late game. You get, because you can pop off more ultimates, right? But in the early start, the start of it, I think it's quite hard to get this Moment of Glory, like to utilize it really well. So yeah, so that's why you're gonna go for the top one first, and then you can go for the bottom one after. Okay, and then everyone's got all these buffs. Then you just do the normal thing, clear all the towers from weakest to strongest, so all the exterior ones first, and then you're missing these plus 20 ones, and then the bosses. Okay. I'm sure maybe you might have seen other maps, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know what Radiant's doing um, yet. I will eventually, and I'll make a video on that eventually. But you know, I think I've learned a lot. um, okay, so to finalize a couple things. Remember, there's two vital pieces of information that I don't have, which it does not affect the map um, movement. The first thing is I lack formations. Like, what are the best formations for all of these towers, right? Because you obviously you have access to all your heroes now. That's one of the new changes. And so, what are the best compositions? So, like, the best composition for this is going to be very different from just a single OD, right? You're going to want a composition that only targets one unit. For example, you're not going to put Aaron in here, right? You might not even put Aaron in here because there's that Dead Tide Sorcerer. Remember from the last one? And here, I think Aaron's should be great here, you know. So and these ones, they move, right? Remember, these ones are on these horses. Well, not horses, but like lizards. Lizards on lizards. Right. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is the stamina management. How are you going to manage your stamina? So you have to think carefully about that as well. Because you have less stamina, therefore you have less moves, therefore you have to be more precise with your move management. And remember, this is why we have, you know, roles. So maybe if you know who has well invested heroes and who doesn't, so maybe non well invested players can go for these passages. Maybe more mid-tier ones who have like average players who have Aarons built, you can send them to places that have like lots of Aarons, like who are worthy of doing Aarons, etc., etc. Okay, so these are just food for thoughts. I will give you update videos later in the future, but for now, I hope these maps help you and give you a good start for your guild to cook up some stuff. Feel free to share on the Discord as well what you guys find, and maybe we can all figure it out together. Right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.